This is the Ecommerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Braintrust podcast. I'm Julie Spear, Head of Retail Marketplace Services at Acadia. And alongside me today, I have Jordan Ripley, Director of Retail Operations at Acadia. Today, we're also joined by Neha Shah. Neha most recently oversaw e-commerce organic acceleration team at Kenvue and is now a free agent. Prior to that, she spent 17 years at Johnson & Johnson as a senior manager overseeing omnichannel excellence and shopper marketing. We'll be diving into really and truly, my absolute favorite topic today. I'm very passionate about this one, and it's the role of organic marketing and the role that it plays in sustainable brand growth, both on Amazon and across other retail channels. So, Jordan, Neha, welcome. Happy to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jordan. Looking forward to this.
Well, let's dig in because, like I said, this is my favorite topic. I find that it can often be a somewhat overlooked topic, although there's more and more light being shined upon the role of organic in a brand's overall growth. In fact, I was at a conference in Boston last week and had a number of conversations with people there that felt just as passionately as I do. So perhaps we're going to start seeing some traction on this. And it's always been something that's confusing to me because retail media is the bright, shiny, sparkly object in our space. And whether it's because there's the abundance of retail media networks, or you're looking at where the money goes to back the industry, what it all comes down to is most brands, 2/3 of your total sales come from organic, non-ad attributed orders. And that seems to get overlooked. So all of that lead in is to ask, why? Why is this the case? What do you see as the reasons that organic remains kind of the unsung hero in e-com growth?
It's a great question. And first, I agree, Julie. It's a true passion area of mine around this space with organic growth and really taking a look at the opportunities in that space. But what I'm seeing is organic growth, it may often be overshadowed. One, mainly because of what is being asked, right? So like, what is the day-to-day ask from leadership that's coming down the pipe, or what's being asked for brand performance in that moment or in that time? And teams may be looking for results immediately, right? And so they are leaning towards paid efforts. Whereas organic growth, in my mind and my experience, it's a longer play, right? If you take a look at what organic growth can offer, it offers sustainability for the brand, right? It does offer cost efficiencies or opportunities for cost efficiencies for the brand. And it also offers opportunity for the brand to grow trust and its own brand equity as well. And I'll dive into those areas, but flipping back to paid, you mentioned that with the rise of like retail media networks and new platforms and new technology, et cetera, those are real opportunities for brands, right? To learn, to test, to iterate in new spaces and engage with shoppers and see if that can drive the needle. And I think that is a shiny big needle that is being shown, and brands are taking that opportunity to do so with paid. But with organic, the big things are around sustainability first, right? Think about it in this way. If paid, like once the budget runs out for paid, where is the traffic going to go, right? So that's an opportunity for organic to really step in and contribute to a brand's longer term growth strategy where they can continue to attract shoppers and engage shoppers over time and build organic growth. So there's a sustainability play there as well. From a cost effectiveness perspective, organic growth takes time. It takes effort to build it, right? It doesn't involve ongoing costs though. So over time, what can we do in this space? We can lower customer acquisition cost over time, but then also have higher ROIs on the business. So it is a cost-effective play around organic growth. And then lastly, I mentioned was the opportunity to develop trust and brand equity within organic space. And, you could do that through just organic efforts, but within the community, through social media. And if you are able to build that trust, and sometimes that can actually be more persuasive than your efforts in paid, right? Longer term, if you're able to build like that organic momentum from a community perspective and a credibility perspective, that can be more persuasive. So it is the unsung hero, but at the end of the day, they both, in my mind, complement each other. Organic can be complementary to the paid strategy. And in some ways, it could even enhance the effectiveness of your paid campaigns as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had a great point there, Neha, which was the idea that, advertising, it's always like, it gets a light shine on it because it's a budget item, right? Like, and so people, particularly leadership, as you said, if you're communicating up to them, it's like, it's very easy to communicate in a dollars and cents way of like, I'm putting this into paid and I'm getting this out of paid, right? And in organic, this is speculative, but my thought is, that's a harder case to line out if it's not just, I spend X and I get a ROAS of Y, but you're trying to like define what even is organic. And I think a lot of times, like when we look at Amazon, it's always like, okay, what did Google do 10 years earlier? What's the corollary in a related digital marketing industry? And, a lot of organic practitioners that I see or that I talk to, it's, they're coming from maybe Google SEO, or they're coming from like a background in digital marketing where it's like, okay, they can easily translate that into paid, right? But in organic, Amazon SEO and Google SEO, like pretty different functions. Mm-hmm. And so with your background, long lead in, but like you have background in omnichannel, you have background in trade, like how do you define organic? Like when you're going to communicate that up to leadership and you're trying to like create a strategy around that, like how do you communicate what organic is and how you measure it and that sort of thing?
That's a great question, Jordan. And from my experience, right? So if you take a look at my background, as you mentioned, within e-commerce, omnichannel marketing, and category management, the way I view it is it's the strategies and also the activities, right, that are led with data insights that are driving engagement and traffic, ultimately sales, without heavily relying on paid. And so I'm carefully saying that because we need paid. It's just finding the balance or finding how they can complement each other in this area of organic growth as well. So that's key. And I'll say within the space that I'm in, looking at my background within e-com and shopper and category management, we're really looking at areas like keyword optimization and content optimization and also SEO, as you mentioned. But it's unique retailer to retailer, right? So you mentioned like Google SEO versus Amazon SEO. I will say that it's Amazon SEO, and then there's a Walmart SEO, and there's a Target SEO, right? So it varies on the platform that the marketplace and the platform and the retailer. It varies, and so your strategies may differ at each as well. So you then have to kind of take it high level, as I mentioned, but then even take it a step further and really see like how does this organic growth or organic marketing, how does that operate on your retailer's site? And where are the opportunities for organic growth for your brand in each of those spaces?
I have a quick follow-on question and then I'll toss it back to Julie. But going back to the idea of budget, and you defined organic as like everything that's paid is mostly, you have a direct budget line item that's going into that. And then the organic elements are things that are not heavily relying on spend to get engagement, traffic, sales, right? Did you ever, when you were in managing channels, did you ever break out budget and here's my paid budget and then here's my organic budget and I'm using that for SEO activities or I'm using it for a content shoot or things like that? Was that a way that you ever played around with breaking out budget, or that was not a way that leadership is looking at these typically?
I would say that it all starts from the overall holistic strategy, right? Yeah. For performance. So there'll be one budget at the top.
Yeah.
And then based on where the goals are going or the objectives are shaping up for the year for e-commerce, then the budget obviously can be sliced and diced from there for paid versus organic efforts. But it's all coming from one place, right? Ultimately,
right.
There's a goal that the company is looking to hit. And based on how things are playing out in the marketplace, decisions can be made, right? If we're going to lean heavier on paid or we're going to lean heavier on organic. I think there's a bigger opportunity to find a balance between the two over time, because to be honest, there could be places where you're putting double effort. And there could be like cost inefficiencies where you're putting both paid effort and you're already winning organically, right? So with this area of organic marketing and having a lens to the organic side of your business and leveraging data to know, where do I already win organically? Where do I not need to put as much paid effort, right? And maybe could I shift that budget then to another brand that does need some paid love in a way, right? And then hopefully that brand will gain traction and begin to develop organic growth as well over time. And then you can re-pivot or reshift from there too. So going back to what I mentioned in the beginning, organic is a long-term play, right? So it's just a matter of keeping your eye on both and getting to a place where both can complement each other to drive that overall goal.
That makes sense.
When you talk about potentially putting double effort in an area on a brand, you're thinking about it tactically, strategically. Really, that what that comes down to is your resourcing, the people that you're putting to it. So given your experience across brands and functions across brands, if you could develop your own team structure that's aimed at delivering organic growth and organic success, what would that structure look like to you? And that could be purely internal on the brand side, as well as leveraging capabilities outside of the brand, whether through agency or tool resourcing. What would that look like?
Wow. I wish I was asked that question every day.
Queen for a day. Let's do this.
Yes, love it. So I would say that to move the organic needle, it's a cross-functional play in my mind. So it's having brand connect deeply into the sales side, connect deeply into the shopper side of the business as well. And so if I had to pick like a dream team to fly this plane every day together, I would say having a paid lead, talking to an organic lead and a shopper lead for your brand is key in this space. And then ultimately bringing in someone from the brand side that is leaning on organic efforts, whether it's through social media, et cetera, and bringing in partners through agency partners or even technology partners that can help you either automate and see data insights and activate on them faster, and also provide a level of analytical support as well, so that each day that you are waking up as a team and figuring out where to steer this plane, you have at your fingertips the conditions at play around things like keywords. Where's your brand ranking that day from a keyword perspective? Where are the opportunities from an SEO enhancement perspective? Where do we need to lean in with content optimizations for that day? And then you can, leverage those resources with this dream team and then steer your course and your direction for that day. That's my dream team. Like that team working together day in and day out, looking at both the paid and the organic side together, but then working with their tech partners and their agency partners to react fast, right? Because it's all about being fast and reacting immediately in this online space. The other thing I'll say is soft skills are important, right? Knowing that this team would be working together, the aspect of like collaboration, communication, but then also being adaptable and creative with problem solving and critical thinking as well. Like just being able to react and put a plan into place and execute, and being adaptable in that way is critical as well to this dream team. So that would be my dream team. If I could have that in place every day, that would be amazing.
Well, that it's not only the ability to act fast, but really what you underscore there is that no silos, that The way that Amazon, to grow on Amazon and retail marketplaces, is to have those discrete areas of expertise, those discrete perspectives and technical capabilities all come together to kind of feed hey, it's overused, but it is a flywheel to feed it. And to really feed it, you need the silos gone. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I hear you on that.
The last thing you touched on was like the sort of tech stack and measurement capabilities to sort of like do that continued iteration of like, we've tried these tactics, we've tried these activities. Are they moving the needle? And in the same way that it's like oftentimes hard to quantify a budget that's organic specifically, I think the measurement is also why like organic doesn't quite get the credit that's oftentimes due. And so I'm curious what you found to be helpful in that measurement component, particularly for organic, where it's like, are my SEO efforts working? Is my content optimization working? You know, all the like brand side, all those things that play into that big nebulous word of organic. Like, how do you actually create the dashboards and the technology architecture to support that?
Definitely. Again, I believe, it starts first with what are your overall goals and objectives in this space, and first defining, what are I would say almost like the lagging indicators that you're really going to measure yourself against, right? So if it's areas like revenue and share and average order value, and you're really tracking those to be your key lagging indicators, then you can work backwards from there and really see which leading indicators truly impact those key lagging indicators. And areas like traffic, conversion, but then also organic search rank would be key. But breaking it down by the categories in which you compete in, I would start there, at the most high level, most minimum. If you're tracking, I would start there first. And tracking things like organic search rank would help you also take a look at KPIs like share of voice for your business as well. And in a way that gets you to take a look at the element of your competition within that scope as well, to see who's winning, who's not, and why. That's where I would start first. And then you can go, obviously further from there.
And you had mentioned like, the sort of trying to decide what to in-house versus what to bring on an external partner. And like, is this something in your experience where like scoping it of like, I to bring in some people that are best of breed of like deploying a given technology, whether that's like competitive insights and share of sales and like, do the dashboarding. Is that something you would often bring on a partner to do? Or is this something that you often kept in-house in your experience, like when you're building out this analytics stack?
I would say it's both. It is both. The aspect of identifying the keyword optimization and really tracking that I've seen really be mastered in-house. But then when you are looking to potentially activate on areas or drive analytics, like sometimes working with an agency partner or a technology company you can get to those areas faster. So, I think it's a bit of both. I would say that. And, luckily with AI really starting to shape areas of efficiencies, right, for data and insights and other operations within companies, like, there are real opportunities for companies to bring some of that in-house eventually. And I'm that's something that I'm keeping my eye on and keeping a pulse on that aspect of it. But then there are other technology players today, right? Like take a look at the tools being offered by our key partners in this space. There are technology and agency partners in this space today that can start to bring solutions in. But what I would recommend is take a look at who offers the largest breadth of coverage for the channels in which you play in, right? And where you truly want to win, and really take a look at the capabilities that they bring for you in your business as well. And to just make sure that they can truly help you get to, again, the overall brand objectives and your brand goals that you're going after in this organic space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, I've got one more kind of future telling question that I like to ask at the close of a podcast when we have someone with as much experience in our space like you, Neha. And I'm curious what your take is moving beyond organic. It is the foundation of it all. I agree, full stop. I think that's what we all landed on here, right? Foundation to success is organic success. But if you're to look at our space and our industry and where it's headed, What's the development you're most interested in keeping an eye on to see how it plays out?
Well, there's so much happening, right, at all times that I'm really excited about. But a few of the biggest areas, one is the rise of just social commerce, right? We're now seeing 55% of consumers are now shopping directly from social media platforms. And most recently, right, with a partnership between Amazon and TikTok, this is a time and place where brands have the opportunity to really rethink how they are going to build communities, drive engagement, and really play on these social commerce platforms moving forward. So I'm keeping a pulse on social commerce and new marketplaces in general that are beginning to rise and the opportunities that are going to occur there. But then in addition to that, omnichannel and how omnichannel is continuing to evolve, right? With social search now really influencing in-store purchase as well. More and more, we're removing barriers to purchase and creating more of a seamless shopping experience for shoppers. And I am really looking forward to seeing how that plays out in the omnichannel space moving forward as well, and how that shapes how we evolve both the physical and the online shopping worlds. And then last but not least, I would say like AI, right? I mentioned AI earlier, but AI is here to really impact everything from analytics to operations to supply chain, and keeping a pulse on where the changes are happening first. I'm seeing it personally in content. That's where I'm seeing a lot of great optimizations happening in the e-commerce space first, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how that evolves over time. So those three areas for sure are going to be top of my mind moving forward.
I think that you have a few other people that would agree that those are key areas worth tracking and seeing what big announcement comes next in terms of partnership around the social commerce angle as well. But how about for you personally? What's next for you, Neha?
Well, this is my first collaboration. So I mentioned that this is like a soft launching of podcast Neha. So we'll see where this evolves moving forward. I think what's great about being a free agent is that I have time to figure out what is going to be next and really have the opportunity to try new things. So this is one of them. I am looking forward to staying in this e-commerce and omnichannel space and bringing my expertise in places and in new ways. So looking forward to that. I welcome listeners that are listening in today to follow me on LinkedIn. And, I hope that this conversation today really just helped to inspire whether you are a leader or a brand marketer or a media lead. And I hope it inspires you to really take a look at where you're putting your efforts, whether it's been on paid or an opportunity to really take a look at organic as well moving forward to drive your business growth. So yeah, it's an open book for me and more to come moving forward.
Well, I appreciate you launching that soft launch here with Jordan and me today. And I know I'll be watching closely to see how Podcast Neha evolves over time, and really appreciate your time today. This was, like I said, a conversation on a topic that I am very passionate about. And so I really enjoyed our conversation today. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you so much. This was so fun. Thank you for having me on.